the stage is gradually set and course becoming clearer on what the shape and form the 2023 elections will take in the history of Nigeria as the political parties conclude their primaries. Issues emanating from the primaries will, however, continue to agitate the minds of Nigerians for days to come as the general elections draw near. Matthew Shomi reports. We'll bring you.
The conduct of primaries of major political parties in the country to select candidates that will appear in the ballot papers to represent them in the coming general elections marks a crescendo of a political momentum that has been gathering since the beginning of the year, with a primaries almost done and dusted, save for the National Convention of the ruling All Progressives Congress postponed till 6th and 7th of June. The political firmament has again been tested and various issues laid bare for many to ponder about.
From the look of things, the primary, I don't know of other states, but in our state, the primary went well, very well. No rancor, no toggery.
And from the situation on ground, well, the primaries that have been conducted by these parties, it has been full of rancors here and there. The serving National Assembly members, some of them lost woefully because they have not been getting in touch with their various constituencies.
With all sense of responsibility, one would have expected the democratic setting of Nigeria to have moved away from where we are now. We are 23 years old democratically, and if you are to go by the responses from government, honestly, it's not been so encouraging.
Three per local government, that is okay. From East Central District, you can imagine what we're talking about. That means that the number of people that eventually come to select who is coming up to become Nigerian president at the party level is not all right.
There is a recurring decimal which is now part of the polity.
That money should be the determining factor. But if people are taking money and they choose the right person, that will be fine. But as far as I know, and like I said earlier, it is not so in Ogun State.
We have seen the influence of money, financial inducements. A delegate going home with as much as 12 million naira at National Convention. Are you really having the interest of the masses?
If you contest in an election now, you go to your village, what they're going to ask you is that what have you brought for them? That's the extent of the weaponization of poverty.
On what Nigerians should look out for ahead of the general elections, they need to investigate the credentials of candidates and what they can offer dominates the agenda.
I think Sony will have been for the Southerners to come up now. But since I'm not in PDP, I praise Wike. He really tried.
I've never believed in zoning. That's my own opinion. Because if you zone, you are disenfranchising the credible ones.
Nigeria and Nigerians, no doubt, have a date with history as the general elections that will determine the future draw near. Matthew Shomi, OGTV News.
And still on politics, national leader of the All Progressives Congress and presidential aspirant Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu has visited party delegates in Ogun State ahead of next week's primary in Abuja. Senator Tinubu was received by the state governor, Prince Abeokuta, and other top-notch APC leaders at the presidential lodge in Abeokuta, the state capital.
The race of who becomes the next president of Nigeria is hotting up. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, APC national leader and a frontline presidential aspirant, on a visit to Ogun State, accompanied by the state governor, Prince Abeokuta, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano State, former governor of Borno State, now a serving senator, Kashim Shettima, among other political bigwigs. Asiwaju Bola Tinubu said he surrendered his vice presidential mandate to an Ogun State indigene in 2015. Hence, the need for the entire Yoruba race to rally around him, saying this is the right time for him to steer the ship of the nation.
I am educated. It is not a matter of age. I have the experience, and this is the right time. It is my turn.
Ogun State APC chairman Alhaji Yemi Sanusi, earlier in his address, pledged the support of the party to the national leader. Ogun State Governor Prince Dr. Abeokuta, while acknowledging the contributions of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to the stability of democracy in Nigeria, said the people of the state will do what is necessary.
We shall do the right thing. You have justified and stated clearly why power must come to not just the south, but the southwest. You made a case for why you believe that you have earned this position that you are seeking. Our leader, may God grant you the desires of your heart.
3 delegates each from the 20 local governments in Ogun State are expected to participate in the next Monday's APC's presidential primary in Abuja.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has raised fears about the 2023 elections following the 20 million permanent voter cards which are yet to be claimed by the owners. The Commission also decried the poor participation of citizens in the ongoing continuous voters registration exercise. INEC's Deputy Director, Voter Education, Mary Nkem, stated this in Abuja during the launch of the PVC Bus Drive project organized by a non-governmental organization, the Advocacy for Civic Engagement. She therefore called on Nigerians, especially the youth, to be actively involved in the process of electing new leaders. According to her, it is votes and not social media that would determine the winners of the 2023 general elections. Nkem said the CVR exercise began on June 30, 2021. The Commission has discovered that between that time and a few weeks ago, the turnout has been relatively low. Towards economic buoyancy in Ogun State, the present administration in the state will not relent in its efforts at improving micro and small medium-scale enterprises among its citizenry. The Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Commerce and Industry, Shola Aropieke, confirmed this at the stakeholders' engagement of the Ogun State 1 billion naira operational grant for micro and small enterprises held at the Abeokuta Local Government Secretariat in Ota for entrepreneurs from the 5 local government areas in Ogun West Senatorial District. Elizabeth Esson reports.
Ogun State COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus Program, acronymed Ogun Cares, is a federal government program adopted by the Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dr. Abeokuta, aimed at providing financial support to small-scale business owners in the state who had in one way or the other been affected by COVID-19 outbreak. For even distributions of these grants, informed engagement of stakeholders across the 3 senatorial districts of the state to sensitize business owners on modalities to be put in place to enable them benefit from the program appropriately.
We've continued to receive applications, and we currently have applications in thousands. It's now for us to review those applications for completeness to ensure that it is valid and it is complete and accurate. Once we've done that, eligible applicants will get an SMS letting them know that they can upload their BVN and all the necessary supporting documents, which shows that they are qualified for the loan. Once they are
engaging stakeholders from Ogun West Senatorial District held at the Abeokuta Local Government Hall, dignitaries, while commending the state government for the initiative, enjoined business owners to utilize the opportunity to their benefits towards economic growth of the state.
We have been having this type of opportunity before, But this one is coming as a great opportunity. Initially, we are intending to go with housing first, but now we are bringing this grant.
We are appealing to you, ma, that this grant, let it reach all households. No matter how small, we are all affected by COVID-19.
Participants availed themselves the opportunity of clarifying some issues bordering on modalities of applications, which were adequately attended to by the project manager, Shola Rubieke, for the Ogun State 1 billion naira operational grant for micro and small business enterprises. Successful beneficiaries, after meeting all necessary requirements, are assured of prompt disbursement as the program will run for a period of 2 years. Elizabeth Esson, OGTV News.
Still in the news, INEC decries 20 million in part 2 of the news. In the last 3 years of Prince Dapo Abiodun-led administration in Ogun State, all sectors have received a major facelift. The housing sector is not left out, as the administration left no stone unturned to ensure cheap and affordable housing service to its residents. In this report, Margaret Okunlola extrays major highlights of the achievements of the current administration in line with the housing sector across the 3 senatorial districts in the state. A report.
Of all human needs, 3 stand out: clothing, food, and shelter. Shelter, as important as it is, remains one of the most expensive assets to own as an individual. This has not gone unnoticed, as this human basic need is one of the pillars of the mantra that upholds the current administration in Ogun State. The administration places shelter in a significant position in the social welfare and well-being. Little wonder, with focus on harnessing the available resources and manpower, it sets the ball rolling on the housing sector, thereby providing cheap and affordable housing services to residents of the state. This administration has delivered in just 3 years over 2,000 housing units, while others are under construction. Through its Ministry of Housing, the Ogun State Housing Corporation, and the Ogun State Property and Investment Corporation, which are the wheels of government that drive construction of housing units, the state government has changed the landscape of the sector under 3 years. Under Affordable Housing Scheme, the administration, upon assumption of office, delivered 130 housing units christened Prince Court Estate at Kemtai Diaba, Abeokuta, with amenities for comfortability. The Prince Dapo Abiodun administration, in its infrastructural development strides, has also constructed King's Court Estate, located along Presidential Boulevard, Okemoso, Abeokuta. The estate has 31 villas of 5-bedroom apartments with an attached boys' quarters. The features of the estate include CCTV camera, perimeter fence, gated with security personnel, a connected drainage for free flow of water to avoid flooding, interlocking paved road for easy movement of vehicles and people, uninterrupted power supply, walkway, portable power supply, packaged sewage plants, and recreational parks, among others. Another housing estate project successfully delivered by Prince Dapo Abiodun-led administration is the 300 housing units located at Kobakwe community along Abeokuta Shagamu interchange in Obafemi Owode local government. Just like how the sun attracts all and sundry to itself, a collection of men that matter in the country, led by the first citizen of the country, President Muhammadu Buhari, commissioned the estate.
This project itself has turned Kobakwe from a little village to a big town. And this is part of what we're doing with urbanization and renewal of our communities, urban renewal of our communities. We're trying to take people away from areas where they're used to and taking them to other places and they will just be as comfortable there.
With 130 units in Kenta Udiaba, 100 units at Shagamu, 100 units in Ilaro, and 200 units in Ota, and many more spread across the state. The current administration has not only surpassed what it meant on the ground in that sector, it has also upgraded the standards.
You don't need to go out to do your banking. We have it in here. We have the shops that takes care of the daily needs. We also have a health facility in place. We have the playground, we have a police station, we have the playground and some other basic amenities that makes you wanting to stay within the confines of your home and do all that is necessary for you to do.
The project in another angle was a source of income generation for residents of the host community.
Commissioner estate wọ́n ní ẹni ọmọ ìlú tó bá wích láti iṣẹ́ kó wá síbí wọ́n dẹ̀ wá síbí mo dẹ̀ gbàṣẹ́.
aṣọ lèmi ń tà gbà tí wọ́n gbé state sí ọ̀dọ̀ wa gbogbo nǹkan yàtọ̀ à ń jàǹfààní wọn iṣẹ́ ń lọ ọjà ń lọ déédéé.
àwa ò ń ṣe olóṣèlú rárá iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ wa ló gbé adé ibi dàpọ̀dẹ̀gbà tọwọ́ tẹsẹ̀.
I'm a plumber. I will say that President Abeokuta have done so well for the state and for the artisan.
Worthy of note is the commendation by participants of the Senior Executive Course 44 of the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru Jos, who on the day 2 of their study tour in the state lauded the state government for its strive at ensuring good governance and inclusiveness.
From all the sites we have been and from the briefings we have gotten, I think I can say that government is in action.
We have seen a lot of good policies in Ogun State. We have seen a lot of initiative, especially in strengthening local governance.
Been absolutely amazing development. This is, I believe, a great progress for the state. It is an opportunity for internally generated revenue. It's good for the economy of the state.
Renovation of fire service station at Abeokuta, Ota, Shagamu, and Ijebu-Ode, as well as primary health care centers across various local governments in the state, add to some of the interventions of the administration in the sector. Margaret Okunlola, OGTV News.
President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday met with Nigerians living in Spain on the sidelines of his official visit, pledging that Nigeria will continue to defend the interests of its nationals living abroad. The diaspora team, which met with the president, included John Bosco, president of the association, his deputy Richard Omorigbe, Super Eagles defender who plies the street with Kenneth Umero, Obina Okafor, among others. President Buhari told the Nigerians, who he described as ambassadors of the country in Spain, that with many of them living in the country for different reasons in order to fulfill career in sports, especially in football, the president urged them to earn respectable incomes in sustaining themselves as well as maintain their extended families in Nigeria, including investments back home. He noted that some engaged in other businesses that have enhanced their socioeconomic status, both here and at home, more importantly, through commitment to various callings, and have therefore enhanced the name and image of the country, thereby earning Nigeria's respect in Spain. The president said on the part of the federal government, the administration will continue to aggressively touch on the many challenges facing the country, assuring that the government would not rest on its oars in surmounting them. He said the unity in diversity has always been the strength of Nigerians, and therefore called on all Nigerians, including those in the diaspora, to join hands with the government in building virile Nigeria desirous of all. Talking politics, President Buhari said Nigeria has started the process leading to national elections in 2023, noting that the government is working tirelessly to ensure that the Independent National Electoral Commission delivers credible, free and fair elections and a smooth transition to the next democratic government. This, he noted, is with a view to concretizing the nation's democracy and serve as example to other African countries. Nigeria's Minister of Education, Adamu, has received the drafted white papers from the white paper drafting panels constituted by the government in March. The Ministry of Education had constituted 10 committees to draft white papers from the visitation panel of 36 federal universities, 6 panels for 25 polytechnics, and 5 for 21 colleges of education. The panels were tasked to prepare the white papers from the reports of the visitation panels that had earlier been submitted to President Muhammadu Buhari in April 2021. The draft white papers were submitted to the minister on Tuesday, May 17, 2022. Receiving the white papers, the minister was said to have assured the panels that the government would make efforts to implement the recommendations contained therein. He said the ministry would submit the report to the president, whose prerogative it was to subsequently issue a federal government official white paper after the report had gone through the required internal processes. The minister commended the panel members for completing the task on time. Adamu also expressed optimism that the recommendations, if accepted by the government and properly implemented, the nation's tertiary institutions would improve in the areas of governance, quality assurance, management of finances, cordial relationship between management and other stakeholders, condition of physical infrastructures, quality of instruction, as well as competencies of graduates. Students in various tertiary institutions in the southeast region on Thursday protested over the lingering strike of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, and gave the federal government 2 weeks ultimatum to end the impasse. The students, who said they were tired of staying at home, expressed regret that many young people like themselves have derailed from the straight path for being idle. The Southeast coordinator of the Student Union Government, Zone F, Moses Ibebuchi, who spoke to journalists during the protest that took place in Abakaliki, capital of Ebonyi State, said the Nigerian government is not helping the students and they are not doing anything about the strike. Instead, they are busy conducting primary elections. In a swift reaction, the Special Assistant to Ebonyi State Government on Student Affairs, Mr. Gideon Onwe, tasked the students to comport themselves while protesting and not cause discomfort to citizens. He assured them that the governor of Ebonyi State, David Umahi, is joining forces with other governors in the federation to find a lasting solution to the ASU strike. Government has assured that there won't be room for examination malpractices during the ongoing West African Senior Secondary Certificate Examination, WAEC, through proper supervision and sitting arrangements throughout the exercise. Ogun State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, who stated this during the monitoring exercise of the WAEC mathematics examination in Ilaro, Yiwa axis of the state, posited that government would not tolerate any form of malpractices or unruly behavior that would frustrate laid-down effort. Arigbabu, while encouraging the students to be determined and focused, said they should do away with examination anxiety, adding that with adequate preparation and hard work, success is guaranteed.
The environment was well set for examination, and students were well arranged, orderly, in such a way that there will be no room for malpractice, which is one of the things we try to guide against in the state. So I want to commend the heads of schools, the principals, the schools that we have gone to, the WAEC officials, the invigilators, and the staff in the schools generally.
The commissioner assured that government would continue to put in place measures that would provide conducive learning environment for learners to thrive. Some of the schools visited were Yewa College, Ilaro, Itolu Community High School, Ilaro, Anglican Grammar School, Urono High School, Ilaro, Government Science and Technical College, Ajigunle. Although the Baptist Boys High School, Abeokuta, remains government-owned, its Old Boys Association will not relent in its efforts to make the school enviable among others in the state. This was the cross of messages delivered during the International Press Conference for the centennial anniversary of the Baptist Boys High School, Abeokuta, held at the school's premises, Shaje, Abeokuta. Ronke Adeyemi has the details.
Baptist Boys High School remains one of the oldest secondary schools in Abeokuta. Founded on 23rd January 1923, the school will celebrate its centenary anniversary by January 2023. Against this backdrop, an international press conference toward the 100 years anniversary was held by the Old Boys Association of the school to highlight planned events for the upcoming ceremony. The national president, Baptist Old Boys Association, Professor Kayode Oyeshiku, noted that 57 infrastructures worth 2 billion naira are being planned for the school.
In line with the foregoing, the Old Boys Association is involved in various aspects of improvement of the school, ranging from infrastructure and social and academic interventions to monitoring of the students' lives on the campus.
Alumni of the school pleaded for government intervention in roads leading to the school and promised to continue their strive towards provision of qualitative education.
Because what we got was not ordinary education, it was education for us. We learned about life, we learned about humility, we learned about thinking of others and applying the goal for everybody. But today, government wants to do everything and they cannot do anything. That's just the problem. If they allow the society to partner with them, provide the basic infrastructure.
The principal, BBHS Junior School, Mr. Lashabi Olamrewaju, expressed his gratitude to the old boys in diaspora for their commitment to give back to their alma mater.
Honestly, government alone cannot do it all. But for that fact that we have formidable Old Boys Association, we give glory to God. Though the old students are complementing what government is doing presently.
The week-long program, scheduled to start from May 16 to 23rd of January 2023, will include awareness work, debate, quiz, award presentation, and Thanksgiving. Aderonke Adeyemi, OGTV News.
The Ogun State Ministry of Transportation, in conjunction with the Federal Road Safety Corps, Ogun State Sector Command, will join the rest of the world to celebrate the 2022 World Bicycle Day, billed for 3rd June 2022. According to a statement by the Ministry of Transportation, this year's events include cycling rally from Abeokuta Sports Club, Ibara, to Olusegun Oshoba Press Center, Ukimoson, Abeokuta, from 8 in the morning. Also, there will be a press briefing by the Commissioner for Transportation, Engineer Gbenga Dairo, which will be followed immediately by a cycling rally from Olusegun Oshoba Press Center, Ukimoson, back to Abeokuta Sports Club, Ibara, for brief presentation on cycling. Cyclists are expected to be at the venue latest at 7:30 in the morning, the statement added. The second of the Synod session of the Diocese of Ijebu North Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion holds on Friday, 3rd June 2022 at St. Luke's Anglican Church, Ijebu Igbo. A statement from the church has it that the Synod with the theme Righteousness Exalts a Nation will start at 10 in the morning and will be done under his lordship, the Right Reverend Dr. Solomon Kukbono. A notorious foreigner and terrorist informant has been arrested by troops in Garoua village in Tambuwa local government area of Sokoto State. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Bernard Oyeko, who announced this in Abuja, says the criminal was apprehended by troops of Operation Adindagi following incredible intelligence report.
Troops arrested a notorious foreigner by name Jabe Buba a terrorist informant at Garua village in Tambuwa local government area of Sokoto State. Some pictures we are seeing with him posting rifles in the forest.
Similarly, troops of Operation Adinkai in the northeast have rescued a 100-member of terrorist families, while 15 among the unrepentant terrorists were eliminated. Troops of Operation Adindaji also rescued 152 kidnapped victims.
Notably, on 24th May, they responded to a distress call on a kidnapping incident along Road Zakibiam, Oba, in Benue State. After a gun battle, the leader of the group, one Mr. Odada, and 2 other kidnappers, who are all dressed in military uniforms, were neutralized.
Reports have it that the armed forces commended the media for effective reportage of ongoing operations, urging the public to sustain their support as well. Similarly, the Defense Headquarters has said that soldiers on internal security operations in the Niger Delta region have uncovered and destroyed over 40 illegal refineries in the last 2 weeks. The Defense Headquarters also said that the soldiers discovered and destroyed 165 metal storage tanks, 72 ovens, 23 dugout pits, 5 wooden boats, and recovered over 1 million liters of stolen crude. Similarly, it also recovered 500,000 liters of diesel, 6,250 liters of fuel, 6 trucks, 3 outbound engines, 1 AK-47 rifle, and arrested 21 criminal oil thieves in the last 2 weeks. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Bernard Oyeko, who made this known, said all the recovered items and the suspects have been handed over to the appropriate authorities for further action. General Oyeko, at a media briefing on update of military, police and other security agencies' operations conducted across the country between May 19 to June 2, said the ongoing counter-insurgency operations in the northeast have killed several terrorists and recovered large caches of weapons during a clearance operation in some villages in Borno State. He said the terrorists, who could not withstand the firepower of the soldiers, abandoned their logistics, and some family members, numbering over 100, were recovered by troops during the encounter. General Oyeko, while noting that the military has trained a total of 122 local vigilantes in Sanga local government area of Kaduna State to assist the security agencies to foster law and order of hinterland and communities, said that within the period under review, military operations have recorded tremendous successes, while the security situation across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country remains dynamic. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has confirmed the release of the former Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, from its custody. Mr. Wilson Uwajaren, the head of media and public affairs of the commission, told journalists on Thursday in Abuja that Idris was released after meeting his bail conditions. It will be recalled that the former AGF was arrested on May 16 by the EFCC over alleged diversion and laundering of 80 billion naira. The commission said the funds were laundered through real estate investments in Kano and Abuja. It said Idris was arrested after he failed to honor invitations by the commission to respond to issues connected to the alleged fraudulent act. EFCC said verified intelligence report showed that Idris raked off the funds through bogus consultancies and other illegal activities using process, family members, and close associates. The Federal High Court in Abuja has granted permission to the detained Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari, to file more evidences against assault by the federal government seeking to extradite him to the United States of America for trial on criminal charges. Justice Inyang Eko granted the request of Kyari made through his lead counsel, Nureni Jimo, in a motion on notice. Jimo, while arguing the motion on notice, prayed the court to allow Kyari bring additional documentary exhibits to establish his innocence in the charges against him. The federal government counsel, Pius Akuta, however, vehemently opposed granting the request. Abeokuta predicated his opposition on the ground that it was an attempt to cure deficiencies in the earlier documentary evidence adduced by the detained DCP Kyari. Delivering a brief ruling, Justice Eko rejected the objection of the federal government and granted permission to Kyari to adduce further documentary exhibits to his own defense. The judge said that the court would have ample opportunity to determine the probate value to be attached to the additional evidence. Meanwhile, a federal high court in Abuja has scheduled hearing for Friday in the extradition proceedings initiated against suspended Assistant Commissioner of Police ACP Abba Kyari by the federal government. Justice Inyak Eko chose the date on Thursday to enable the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, file a formal response to Kyari's notice of primary objection challenging the competence of the extradition application filed by the AGF. The AGF applied to the court for permission to surrender Kyari to the authorities of the United States in relation to his alleged link with the international fraud suspect Abbas Rahman, also known as Hush Puppy. Business news segment comes next with Adebola Oshomoji. Stay with us.
Welcome to the business segment of the news. President Muhammadu Buhari has challenged Spanish investors to take advantage of Nigeria's tax-free environment and limitless expatriate quota at the nation's free trade zones to boost Nigeria's Spain trade and economic opportunities. The president gave the charge at a business forum jointly organized by Spanish Chamber of Commerce, the Nigerian Ministry of Trade, and the Confederation of Employers, CEOE, in Madrid, Spain, on Thursday. According to him, for quite a number of decades, Spain has been one of Nigeria's most important trading partners. He revealed that the country has been a major importer of Nigerian crude oil, noting that Nigeria's export to Spain stood at $4.8 billion in 2020, whilst Spain's export to Nigeria increased from $97.2 million in 1995 to $517 million in 2020. He, however, maintained that a lot more could be done to increase the volume of the trade. World Bank economists Jonathan Lane and Jacob Angel have said that rising inflation, persistent population growth, the COVID-19 pandemic, and the war in Ukraine are threatening Nigeria's poverty reduction aspiration. These economists said this in a post published on a bank's blog on Tuesday. The post read in part Nigeria's aspiration to lift all of its people out of poverty by 2030 present a serious challenge. Even before COVID-19, 4 in 10 Nigerians lived below the national poverty line, some 80 million people. The global pandemic, rising inflation, and ongoing uncertainty related to the war in Ukraine, combined with relentless population growth, have made Nigeria's poverty reduction goals more challenging than ever. In June last year, the President, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, inaugurated the National Steering Committee of the National Poverty Reduction with Growth Strategy chaired by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. This, he said, the re-echoes his commitment to lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years with a well-researched framework for implementation and funding. The federal government says the $3.1 billion contract for the complete automation of the Nigerian Customs Service approved by the Federal Executive Council in 2020 has been upturned. This, it said, was due to disagreement between parties that made up the consortium. It said the disagreement defied the federal government intervention through the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation. According to a monitored report, the e-Customs project approved by the Council in September 2020 and awarded to Messrs. E-Custom HC Project Limited will run for 36 months. Addressing State House correspondents shortly after the FEC meeting where the project was approved, The Minister of Finance and Budget Planning, Dr. Zainab Ahmed, said the main objective of this project is to completely automate every aspect of the custom business and to institutionalize the use of smart and emerging technologies that will enhance the function of the Nigerian Customs Service in the areas of revenue generation, as well as trade facilitation and enhancement of security. Shortage of oil refineries across sub-Saharan Africa, coupled with soaring crude prices because of the war in Ukraine, has left countries dangerously short of fuel supplies, disrupting airlines and causing queues at filling stations, Reuters survey has shown. The surge in prices comes in tandem with a spike in the cost of food after Russia sent troops into Ukraine, hitting tens of millions of people already living in precarious conditions, as well as government and aid agency budgets. Refineries across sub-Saharan Africa combined can process 1.36 million barrels of oil a day BPD in theory, but with many out of action, only 30% of that capacity was used last year, according to independent consultancy CITAC. Refineries in Cameroon, Ghana, and Senegal are short, as are 4 in South Africa. Africa's biggest oil producer, Nigeria, pumps over 1.3 million barrels a day, but the 2 privately owned plants still running there can only process 1% of that. The African Export-Import Bank and the African Petroleum Producers Organization signed a deal last month to create a multi-billion-dollar energy bank to boost private investment in the sector, but analysts say they are few quick fixed on the horizon. And that was business news. Back to Bukola for the rest of our bulletin.